Last movie review, and now we talking about the Prince of Egypt. I've been meaning to watch this for a long time. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I heard about the crazy story how the writer used to work at Disney, and they promised if he made help him make a couple movies, they'd let him make the Prince of Egypt, and they didn't. So he went to DreamWorks, and then boom, we have the Prince of Egypt. Thought that was pretty cool. So let's get into it. Prince of Egypt, written by or directed by Brenda Chapman, Steve Hickner, and Simon Wells. Music by Hans Zimmer and written by Philip Lazebnik. It's wonderful. I mean, it has really good ratings. It's like a kind of it's a classic film. It's like a staple in the animation community for its just wonderful quality. But let's do a quick review of characters and plot, and then we'll get into my review. This is a story of Moses. It's a classic tale told in the way it is told in this movie. I don't know how accurate it is. From the reviews, it seems to be one of the most accurate retellings. Not saying it's completely is, but it's kind of held to be pretty accurate. So, to summarize, if you don't know the story, I didn't. There are Hebrew families that are being oppressed by the Egyptian king, the Egyptian king, and the rest of the royalty, as a chance for like a better life because he's the chosen one. Moses's mom tries to give him a new life because they were murdering all the baby boys who were Hebrew. So he puts him in a basket, sends him in the sea, and then he ends up at the palace, or whatever you'd like to call it, the temple, I don't know, of the Egyptians. He's adopted and raised as the Prince of Egypt. And then it is revealed that, he was one of the slaves the whole time. He himself is Hebrew and his whole life is a lie. He runs out to the desert. And again, just like when he was put in the water, he walks out to the desert and was saved by the grace of God, at least in the plotline. Um, and he goes out to this little village and he finds a new meaning to life, that's away from material items and the life he had before. And he becomes a simple shepherd, has a wife, and is reintroduced to what it means to be, period. After this, he goes to, if you've heard of the burning bush. I didn't. I know that's a really big biblical topic though, and that's the bush like it's like on fire, but it's like not hot and he can touch it, and that's God's voice speaking to him, telling him he's the chosen one. He needs to go back to Egypt and save the Hebrew people, and he's like, why me? God says because he says because I said so. It doesn't really give him an explanation. So now he has a magic staff, or a staff that can wield the power of God. He goes back to his brother, who is now the Pharaoh, and he wreaks havoc to save his people. And like he said, the locusts, the flames, the all this stuff. And basically he uses God's power through that staff to, unfortunately, definitely cause a lot of deaths, but to save the greater Hebrew people. And eventually they are freed. He parts the Red Sea, they walk to the promised land. His brother the Pharaoh tries one more time to get them and he fails. Very big oversimplification of the plot. But it is apparently a classic story that all people know. I loved it. Now here's my review. I loved it. This is a staple in the animation community. I've had a million of my friends like all my animation friends tell me, you need to watch this, you need to watch this, because the way they integrate 3D animation with traditional animation, and it's a staple. It's really, really wonderfully done. All of the art is, every scene is a painting. It is truly gorgeous. The music by Hans Zimmer, I've heard a lot about Hans Zimmer. He's very popular. I don't know if you guys, whoever is watching, knows, but like he's just like an extraordinarily like large and popular producer, I guess, composer. So he did a wonderful job, and just that in combination with the animation, and then like a retelling of such a, my exposure is just gonna be wacky. The retelling of such a classic, I guess, a classic and timeless story. I don't know. I think it was just wonderfully done. The plot was smooth. And in relation to like portrayal of Middle Eastern people, I think because it's portrayal of people so long ago, I don't think. Well, I don't think any, even if there were stereotypes applied, none of them would apply today, you know? Um, I think the representation of the people is so long ago that it definitely does just focus on the plot of Moses. And so I don't think there was really space to really characterize a group of people. I guess theoretically you could say that it characterized the Egyptians as like evil people. But the whole entire plot is that like that one religion was right and the other one was wrong. So, and they never say in the show that one of the really like that the Egyptian religion is not real, but it's implied. Um but like I don't know. I think it's just a wonderful story, and I think it just kind of used the Middle East as a setting. I like that they didn't whitewash the characters visually, yes, and but all of the voice actors were white, which definitely was a missed opportunity to get some real representation into the story. But overall, I mean, you can't beat that animation, you can't beat that music, and I would give this movie a 5 out of 5. 100% a 5 out of 5.